Da. What's up? I don't know about you guys, but I love this music. Always gets me fired up before I do a show. You guys will probably, some of you will probably ask, that's called Church of Eight Wheels. People are like, what's that music, Big Cheds? You can find me, of course, on Twitter. I am at Big Cheds. If you do not already, please find me on YouTube at Cheds Trading. Please subscribe. I would like to point your attention to my good friend and another great chart teacher, Chonas Trading, Big Chonas. On Twitter, Big Chonas. On YouTube, at Chonas Trading. Does a lot of great stuff with videos, different indicators. And of course, I am a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live, the best-in-class educational platform for crypto. We'll talk more about that later. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. Please do go ahead and hit that thumbs up button to help with the search results later. If you don't like what I'm doing, hit the thumbs down. It's all good. I believe in free speech. I am not an advisor. I'm someone who enjoys talking crypto. I'm a Japanese candlestick trader, and I enjoy teaching people, and I enjoy learning. So that's why I'm here today. So really appreciate you guys showing up. We're going to see, there's a lot that's going on right now, and it's pretty exciting. And if you have not already, I would encourage you to check out my video I posted yesterday on YouTube. It was a great show, in my opinion. And, I think we're seeing some of that borne out right now in the price action. I talked about how Bitcoin was bullish in the short term, and I expected some bullish continuation. And we're seeing that, which is kind of exciting. So I'm going to start again today, as I did yesterday, with some perspective. We're hanging around at that 200 period moving average. It's shown to be support here in the past, and it's support again now. In recent memory, we have on the weekly chart this 200 period moving average serving as support in the middle of December, again here at the end of January and early February. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. We're seeing a little bit of volatility now. I know it was 3,900 a moment ago. It's back to 3,800, mid 38s. So I'm just noticing here on the 12-hour chart, which is my preferred time frame, that we're interacting now with the 200. Let's zoom in a little bit. We're interacting with the 200 period moving average, this big blue line. We can see that that has served as resistance in the past. It did in September. We see on this long upper shadow, middle of October. It happened again right there at November. So this is a critical, very critical level. And it also corresponds with our horizontal resistance from these prior consolidation periods. We have a tower top on a higher time frame. This would look like a tower top. We have this double top here with the tweezer top. So there's plenty of resistance it's working through. So this is, there's a lot of traffic here for Bitcoin. So I think we need to be, I think it's bullish that we're here, but I think it's gonna be hard to grind through. So I would be cognizant of where we are, depending on how strong you believe this 200 period, moving average resistance is. If you just ignored the 200 MA, you could make a pretty good argument for Bitcoin going right to 4K. It's just another $100. That's really where we're starting to see the prior resistance here from early January. So how did we get here? And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We'll take a look at the oscillators, and then I'll go right to those chart requests for you. We'll look at Litecoin and Ethereum as well. Maybe we'll look at the BCH pairs. So one thing I've pointed out in all of my shows, and I'm trying to demonstrate here, if we take the size of this candlestick from February 8th, the size of the real candle body, what do I mean by that? I mean if we take the open and we take the close, that's your real candle body. So based on Japanese candlestick theory, a candle of this, so a couple things. Firstly, a candle of this size suggests continuation in and of itself, especially with the volume behind that. We can see right here. So there's a lot of volume on this candle, a very bullish candle. Even though we have this upper shadow, we still have a pretty nicely sized real candle body with quite a bit of volume behind it. Picture looks grainy. Try hitting refresh. That should pull it up for you guys. So the point I'm making is based on the size of this real candle body, that suggests continuation. So we were looking in the volume candles. We were watching these volume candles for clues, kind of mixed selling, but not enough selling to kind of break my original belief based on that candle and the volume behind it that we were going to have continuation. Now, secondly, this based on candlestick theory, the midpoint, right? The midpoint, which is right around 3,500 down to the base, right around 3,380. it's going to be support. Okay, that's what you should expect to be support. And the fact that we were able to consolidate with all of these spinning tops, and we were able to maintain price gains. We were basically able to maintain almost all of the previous gains as the moving averages caught up. So what am I trying to say? All this consolidation was above the midpoint of this candle. That's bullish to me. Number one. Number two, while that happened, that allowed this yellow line and this brown line to catch up, right? That allowed these moving averages to catch up. And what that does, it kind of, the Bollingers got tighter, because initially, look where we were. We were very far above the upper Bollinger Band initially. So what's going to happen is, with every move, there's going to be some consolidation. Gianluca, try hitting refresh, my friend. Looks like other people are doing okay. In terms of muting, I'm sure you folks can hear me. So in terms of muting, I'm not sure what I can do about that. But in any case, what we should point out here with Bitcoin is that, like I was saying, we held above the middle point of this candle. We had kind of a low to medium volume consolidation, and we finally have the higher high on Bitcoin. So we're seeing that bull break right here, right at that 3730 level. So initially, I pointed out, for example, let's take Ethereum here in the 12-hour chart. On the initial Ethereum move, you can see Ethereum made a higher high within 3 days. So let's go back to Bitcoin. See how long it took Bitcoin. It took Bitcoin from the 8th of February all the way to February 18th. So why would you folks be blurry? So you can hear me. I'm not sure what to do here, my friends. Let me just take a quick look at something here. Yeah, there's not much I can do, but on the refresh, it's going to be just fine. Keeps muting and blurring. I do apologize for that. There's not much I can do, but hopefully you're getting the information I'm trying to give to you. And the point I'm trying to make is that we are above the midpoint of that. Sorry, we were able to maintain above the midpoint of that prior candle, and we were able to break up above, and now potentially are going to close above this key level of 3711. And with Ethereum, so Ethereum made a higher high right away, and then, it did that again, in February 17th. So it happened, this was leading the way. Essentially, Ethereum and Litecoin were leading the way, and I'll show you what I mean. Here's Litecoin. Litecoin is very bullish right now. Look at that at 47. So what did Litecoin do? Here's Litecoin's initial high, same day as Bitcoin, and it made a higher high just the immediately next candle. Okay, you see that, right? Immediately made a higher high. So let's go back to Bitcoin, and we're going to compare, right? Look at that. It took Bitcoin all the way until this morning, essentially. All right, all the way until this morning to make a higher high. And so that's what we're seeing. So that's the perspective we're putting this in. And so the fact that both Ethereum and Litecoin were making higher highs while Bitcoin had not, it actually suggested to me that further, in my view, increased the chances of bullish continuation for Bitcoin. Why? We have the size of the candle. We have the volume behind it. We have the fact that the consolidation pattern remained above the midpoint of this candle. And we had Litecoin and Ethereum making higher highs. So it really shouldn't surprise any of us that Bitcoin was, was able to punch through and make that higher high. What's happening right now? We talked about this 200 MA. We're going to continue to watch the 200 MA. Let's just do some quick analysis on Ethereum. So we've talked about Ethereum making its higher high initially. This is some really nice candlestick action, but I would note 12 hours is a pretty high time frame. Look where we are. This whole candle is above the upper Bollinger Band. So this is strong, and you can see we're actually punched right through our 200 MA. Acted as resistance back in June, and then again here in January. We're going to mark some important resistance levels to watch. If the price is able to push all the way to that 158, 160 level, that's something you would definitely want to watch. I'm not saying it's going to. That would take quite a push given where we are now and given where the upper Bollinger Band is. But we have to also note we do have increasing bull volume. We do have accelerating bull volume. We have accelerating bull volume essentially on Ethereum. So it does have a chance, but you know, we want some more context. So let's zoom out. Let's look at our oscillators. We have here on the 12-hour chart, RSI is breaching 80. That's pretty high. Stochastics and Vigor Index showing short-term overbought. I would probably think we're going to get rejected in the lower end right there. That would make sense. So I would be surprised if we do not pull back and consolidate right now at Ethereum. And what would be an ideal consolidation? I'm going to remove these other lines. What would be ideal is for this green line, this 8 EMA, to serve as support on the pullback, as it has thus far. You can note that. You see that? 8 EMA, the green line. So ideally, we want to see the price pull back a little bit, let that upper Bollinger Band catch up, right? And let the price pull back to this 8 EMA so it can bounce. That's what you want to see here on Ethereum. But it's really impressive, especially this volume we're seeing, this buy pressure. Let's just jump over to Litecoin. Litecoin is also looking quite excellent right now, and notably we have a bull break in progress. We have the first, second, third, fourth high. So while Bitcoin still only had that initial first high, Litecoin made the first high in the 8th, made another high later in the day, another high, you know, the following day, and then 2 days later. I mean, so that's Litecoin was pushing the way, really leading the way, even more than Ethereum. Ethereum looks really good now, but Litecoin was I would say definitely leading the way, and we've now just broken up above this dark cloud cover from February 10th. So you know, that's a nice signal right there. Now, as opposed to Ethereum, we still have a little bit of room to run. With the RSI, and the on-balance volume looks a heck of a lot stronger on Litecoin than Ethereum. Here is Ethereum to illustrate my point. Here is Litecoin. Look at that. Look how much stronger the on-balance volume is on Litecoin. So what does that mean to me? You know, we're just above the upper Bollinger Band. So maybe Litecoin can push up a little bit more before pulling back. Maybe we can get all the way to that $52 range. That'd be something to keep an eye on. But, you know, if you're not in right now, what you want to be doing is waiting for a pullback. If this is going to continue, and on Litecoin, looks like this MA20, this middle Bollinger Band, has been the support, on the pullback. So that's something I would keep an eye on. So you're going to want to watch for I do not favor buying when you're above the Bollinger Band, right? You want to wait for a pullback to your moving averages. But in general, Litecoin looks more bullish than Ethereum. Let's compare Litecoin's OBV to Bitcoin. Look at that. Bitcoin's much flatter. So Litecoin has been leading the way for quite a while. And I think that is something to keep an eye on. Let us take a brief look at BCH ABC, and then we'll look at BCH SV. So we have a clear bull break in progress on BCH ABC from my prior videos on Bitcoin Live, and whenever I've done this on YouTube. We had a pretty clearly established resistance level for BCH ABC right around the $132 level, and we can see how see that it was rejected there quite a bit. And then it was rejected again here in early February. And we're seeing that breakout again right now here in the 18th of February. So I think what we should be looking for is where we're likely to run into trouble. We already do have a little bit of an upper shadow, some profit taking developing right now within this candle, but we're going to jump back. I think 155 is an area we want to keep an eye on. Little bit of room in the RSI. We're at 75, a little bit of room there in the RSI. And we're showing some short-term overbought, but we still have a little more room. So I could see it potentially pushing all the way up to that like 150, low 150 level, and then pulling back up. And in this case, what you'd want to do for kind of a textbook buy, maybe you'd want to buy like on a retest. If it can pull back to this level, that would be an ideal entry. Let's move on to BCH. SV, we're at $68, so we're seeing a little bit of a move here. Not as much volume, it appears, as ABC. So what do we have here? We have a break and a hold of the MA34. Looks like we had quite a bit of trouble with that. A little bit of a false breakout here, and we're seeing just continued price rejection at the EMA34 for BCH SV through time. Rejected here in February again. And now we're looking at a new bull break, probably with most convincing, as opposed to the prior ones, but the volume just isn't there yet. So I would be a little bit more cautious with BCH SV. We can also see that the on-balance volume is much weaker than ABC. So I would just, in my opinion, BCH ABC looks stronger. I'm going to go right to the chat room, chart requests. I'm going to go right to the chat room right now, and I'm going to take those chart requests. I believe the first one I'm going to say hello to some of my friends here. Samantha, Dragon, Jamie, H. Page, Hardy, Sarah, Bradbury, Connor, Sculpture, Gianluca, Wayne, Tony, Janine, Connor, AT, Brian, Robin. What's up, Robin? Matt, Farman, Dennis, Chuck. It's good to see all you guys. Appreciate you showing up here on this President's Day. Let's take a look at ADA here on the 12-hour chart. So we have a clearly, what we're doing right now is we're potentially trying to break a lower high. That's what jumps right out at me. And we may have broken it on the candle shadow, but not necessarily convincing yet. But it does look promising. So what we're going to want to watch, we have our low here on ADA. We have our higher low right at around 1,000 Satoshi. And we have a very clearly delineated, in my opinion, level of resistance. So there's our low, there's our next low. So say we get rejected here, we're going to want to watch for this 1,100 support to hold. So what we're going to want to do is see if the price can break through this 1180 level and close above it with some volume. That would be a signal. Until then, you want to be careful and you want to watch for potentially a pullback, and you want to see this higher low level of support hold, and that is how I would play ADA. Let us move on. Matt, let's take a look at XLM for Matt. I talked about XLM on my show last night. I do like XLM. It has been essentially, the chart's been in a bit of a free fall. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Chart's been in a bit of a free fall here for quite some time. Looks like since November. And we've tried to form a bottom a couple times now, and that has not happened. And we have our latest attempt now in the 12-hour chart to form a bottom. And how is that manifesting itself? We do have bullish divergence in the RSI. We have it in the on-balance volume. We have it in essentially all the oscillators that I have before you. We're seeing those higher lows versus flat lows on the price. In the volume candles, we've seen some accumulation here. We're seeing sideways price movement with heavy loading. So we're seeing some accumulation, and on the sell-off candles, not convincing sell volume. So what we want to do is we want to watch to see that these higher lows, that these lows are held, are respected. We have a clearly marked low, and then from there we're going to want to watch for a higher low to form and to hold. So that's the name of the game. I think this setup will break down if we are unable to hold this initial low at that 2080 level, but we are seeing some accumulation. Let's continue on. M. Hussein, what's up, Samanth? M. Hussein, let's take a look at XRP as you request. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP, BTC, we're right at 8,300 Satoshi. All right, what are we doing here? 8,300 Satoshi. And we are trying to hold our lows. So we clearly have our lower highs. We have our high from December. We have our high from January 31st. And at this point, the name of the game is we need to establish higher lows. So as you can see, we have a nice, very clear low from October. And we can start to put in some higher lows. We'll take this lower shadow from 14th of November. Problem for bulls is you tried to form a higher low. Here in December, it held for quite a while, and now we broke through. You had the potential for a spring, a false bear break with this right there at the end of January, but now the price has dropped below, and that's now serving as resistance. So we have a very clear level of resistance to watch here on XRP, which is going to be right at that 8,600 level. And we have some support to watch. I'm not sure where that support is going to lie, but this looks to me like it's pulling back and is headed to the sevens, certainly the mid sevens, if not lower. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I do see the bullish divergence with the RSI, but not with the OBV. So I still do believe this will continue to bleed for a little while. Let's take a look at the next request. EOS leading the way, huh? Let's take a look at EOS for Ferris. So EOS is pretty bullish as well. It looks like it's trading similar to the other major coins, and we see a nice bull break in progress. So we had this tweezer top with the Harami on February 13th, 12th, 13th. We've just now broken up above that, and there's significant volume on that break. Now, it's probably running in tandem with the other coins right now, so that does make sense. But we do want to note we potentially have a little bit of a triple top on the RSI. So we need the RSI. I mean, the RSI needs to cool off before this can continue to run. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume the price gets rejected here, and we'll need to pull back. And I would be watching to see if that 8,300 support level can hold. You know, and that's how I would play EOS. Let's wrap it up right there. I want to thank everyone for joining, and I want to give you folks a quick update here on Bitcoin. I'm going to go ahead and fix with the streaming. I'm probably going to change something. I'm not sure why there's an issue with the streaming. I know some of you are having trouble. I do apologize for that. So I'm going to fix that for the next show. And we've talked about the fact that we had the continuation as expected based on the size of this the Bitcoin candlestick from February 8th, the volume behind it, the fact that Litecoin and Ethereum were making new highs, right? And we're making higher highs, and Bitcoin had not made one yet. That suggested to me that there was going to be some bullish continuation, and the fact that all these spinning tops held above the midpoint of that candle. And that's how, you know, and that's here we are. So we're going to continue to watch this MA200, and we're going to want to watch this tower top area from January 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th as resistance. You can find me, of course, I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds, and I'm on YouTube at Cheds Trading. I would encourage you to check out my good friend Big Jonas. He's on YouTube at Jonas Trading and at Big Jonas. And I'm a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live, the best-in-class educational platform for crypto. I would encourage you to check out my webinar on YouTube to find out more about why I'm involved in this project. I have a series on candlestick analysis, trading psychology. I put out trading alerts with entry, stop loss, and target level. You know, and I'm just one of 6 teachers, and we also have